why I play Yu-Gi-Oh. For me, that's kind of a two-part question because it's a little different in my situation. I'm an older player, considering I'm in my 30s, and for me, it could be the simplest answer as I love the game and I enjoy every fashion of this game, and there's really no other way to describe it. But for me, it really stems back to what I've been through my whole life. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh is a kid's game that adults play, but in a sense, Yu-Gi-Oh is like any other hobby, and it does everything you want it to do that any other hobby would do. And coming from a guy who kind of dabbles into everything, fitness and other collections, Yu-Gi-Oh isn't my only passion, but as far as this game, it reminds me of what I want to accomplish as a person. And people may not have that point of view when they talk about Yu-Gi-Oh, especially someone in their 30s like me. At the end of the day, it's something that I enjoy. It's something fun. It's something that helps me break away from reality. So when you put it in perspective for someone to say why I play, it is more than just a love. It is something that I desire to be good at. As a younger person, I was always competitive. I've always wanted to compete for something, and this kind of just opens the doorway for me. And a lot of people don't really understand that Yu-Gi-Oh, while it is 1v1, 3v3, things like that, I look at it more as me versus me, because the only person I'm trying to be better than is the person I was yesterday. And I can lose 100 games in a row as far as Yu-Gi-Oh goes. That doesn't matter. It's what I do to grow as a person every time I play, because when I play with passion and I play with respect, and I never want any of my opponents to ever feel like they were cheated, and to make them feel like they didn't have arguably the best time, because I'm not the greatest player. I've never won anything. I've never won locals. I've never won a regional, YCS, whatever. But that doesn't stop me from wanting to be the best at what I do. And that's why I take to certain decks, because they just bring the best out of me and they make me compete the best in a way. And growing up as a child, we in my little small town, had a big Italian family down here in Old Hammond, Louisiana. All we do is we compete with each other, and that's instilled in me to want to compete with the person in front of me, with my peer. And what I've done is I've found myself in arguably the best group there is around, as far as a couple of my closest friends and my locals. The guys at my locals are absolutely phenomenal. And when I took a break from Yu-Gi-Oh for a while. We played back in between 2014 and maybe 2019, and we picked it back up in 2023-ish, 2024, somewhere in there. And when I got back into it, I was aware of how Yu-Gi-Oh was run. I played with links, I played with XYZ synchros and all that, and a lot of it is timing. And the guys at my locals were very, very patient with me about that. And I couldn't have picked arguably a better time to come back to this game to make me feel like kind of where I belong. And it kind of made me feel like something was missing out of my life. Now that I've been doing this again for a couple years, I can't see myself getting out of it anytime soon. Do I agree with everything that Konami does? No, but that's not going to change how I feel about this game and what the direction of it is. And basically what this game allows me to do, it allows me to face adversity where I never thought I would face it. And it's a mental game. And I feel like it sharpens the brain, and I feel like it keeps you sharp, it keeps you on your toes. It's more than just a child's game that people would say, and people can call me a nerd all they want. I don't care. It's not about what other people think. It's all about what you think of yourself. And I think I'm in the happiest place I've ever been as far as Yu-Gi-Oh, and how satisfied I am with this game. It doesn't matter if, you know, like, I'm a hero player, and you know, recently we've gotten new support, and I feel like I'm just in the happiest place I could be. You know, I can't say I was around when a lot of the other stuff came out, and seeing all this, it's incredible. It's no secret that I started my own YouTube channel, and I get questions here and there about why I started it and what does it do for me and what's my goal with my channel. And it's always the same kind of answers. You know, I started this YouTube channel because it's something I enjoy doing. I don't do YouTube for money. I don't do it for fame. I don't do it for any of that, because like I said before, I've never won anything. You know, outside of sports, I don't have any victories. You know, I've got a lot of second place trophies on my wall, third place, fourth place, whatever. But in Yu-Gi-Oh, the closest I've ever came to winning anything is second place. And there's no reason to ever brag about that. But at the same time, what I've noticed is there's a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players that are just so knowledgeable, and the one thing they won't do is get on camera. They won't put their voice out there. They won't make a channel, and that's fine. You know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I'm one of the lucky few who is more comfortable with being on camera and putting myself out there. You know, I'm an extroverted person, and so making myself uncomfortable is one of my greatest strengths. It's one of the things that's helped me succeed as a person through life, and I'll never shy away from that. You know, I don't feel like I'm a person who needs to just hide everything that I do. I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh is a game of sharing, and if I come up with something that I feel is strong in the meta, especially for a deck I'm playing, I want to put it out there. I want everyone to know that. I don't want anyone to ever feel like I would hide information as far as Yu-Gi-Oh goes, but at the same time, I'll always revert back to, I'm not the greatest player. I'm just an honest player, and I'm one of the easiest you'll ever play with. I always make sure I ask permission before I film. I don't ever want to make anyone uncomfortable, and luckily in my experience filming, no one has ever felt that way that they've said, and I'm very grateful for that. And I hope that people who watch videos like this will somewhat get motivated or inspired to record. You know, it's nothing. It really isn't. And it seems like it's a big deal. The hardest thing you'll ever do recording is editing. That's it. You know, you just get in front of the camera. The hardest part is just turning it on and you just start talking. That's it. You're talking like you're talking to your best friend. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what people think of what you do. It's what you think you do. And the opinion you hold to yourself, that's what's important, because you are the standard. And no one will ever reach your standard. So take that and be the person you were meant to be. Do what makes you comfortable and do what makes you happy. That's the way I'm going to lead as a husband, as a friend, as a father. I'll never deter from that. And I really hope everyone takes something from that.